Today we're going to be talking about when your relationship with God becomes more than this world can handle. Now, let's talk about it. Let's give some context here. So there's this man who sits by a pool in Bethesda. I think that's Bethesda. And every year, an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first, after the troubling of the water, stepped in, was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years. He's been waiting on a healing for 38 years. Been waiting on being made whole for 38 years. He's been here beside this pool waiting for the angel to trouble the water. Now, I don't know if he was born with this disease or after he had already grew a little while. Maybe he was 10 or 12, or maybe he was close to my age, 38 years. But whatever the case may be, for 38 years, he had this infirmity in his body. And a certain man was there. When Jesus saw him lie and knew that he had been now a long time in that case, he saith unto him, wilt thou be made whole? So Jesus came by, seen him, and knew he had been there for a very long time. The impotent man answered him, Sir, I have no man, when the water is troubled, to put me into the pool. But while I am coming, and another steppeth down before me. Jesus saith unto him, Rise, take up thy bed, and walk. And immediately the man was made whole, and took up his bed, and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. Now here's the first thing. He'd been there for 38 years. Jesus seen him and knew his situation. And of course, having compassion on him, he said, Wilt thou be made whole? Right? And Jesus ultimately ended up healing him. But the man said, Sir, I have no man when the water is troubled to put me into the pool. But while I am coming, another steppeth down before me. He's talking to Jesus. Now, I know he doesn't know that this is Jesus. He doesn't know that. But how many times have we been in our trouble, in our sorrow for just a little season, a little while, been in trouble and sorrow? And God give us a message or word of encouragement, and we say, well, how can we ever make it out of this? How could I ever recover from this? How could I do better in this situation? And trust me, I know there are a lot worse situations that you have probably dealt with than I have ever dealt with in my life. I know that. I don't understand that, but I know that because I've had a blessed life. Thank God for it. But this man here, 38 years sitting beside this pool, and when the man who could heal him came by, he started making excuses. Ultimately, Jesus ended up healing him anyway. That's the grace and the mercy of God. Also to demonstrate the power of God, that he doesn't have to use the pool to heal. All he had to do was say, Rise, take up thy bed and walk. He didn't say nothing about healing. He just said, get up and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. Now, listen. The Jews therefore said unto him that was cured, It is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed. Right? He answered them, He that made me whole. He still don't know who this is. The same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. Then asked, What man is that which said unto thee, Take up thy bed and walk, and healed? Wist not who it was, for Jesus had conveyed himself away, a multitude being in that place. So let's stop there. When your experience with God, with Jesus, becomes so real, the world cannot handle it. For one, they said, It is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed. He just said, He that made me whole, the same said unto me, Take up thy bed and walk. In other words, I don't care what you saying. I don't care what day of the week it is. The one who just healed me, so this is that experience I'm talking about. The one that just healed me told me to take up my bed and walk. And what does that look like for us as Christians, as humans? The one who just saved me, the one who just delivered me from all the things I was bound by, whether that be music, drugs, alcohol, whatever, sex. The one who has delivered me from all these things told me to take up my bed and walk. Listen, down here he says, Behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon thee, or come unto thee. So that's what This is all just another example of God's grace and mercy. He saved this man. He healed this man. And in the same way, he has healed us from many diseases, many infirmities, sicknesses that we have had, not only physical, but spiritual in our body. And what is he saying here when he says, take up thy bed and walk? He's saying, behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. What's he telling us? To get up, don't continue in sin. Go and do something different. We all have the Great Commission, go out into all the world and preach the gospel. But oftentimes, even though our experience, well, I don't want to say that, when our experiences is made as real as this, when it's really made real, you won't care what people think. You'll dress different. You'll talk different. You'll speak different. You'll act different. You won't listen to the music that the world listens to. You won't sing and dance with the things that they do. You won't cuss anymore. When you really have an experience, you are going to take up your bed and walk. And no matter who comes to tell you otherwise, you don't have to do all that. You ain't got to go there. You don't got to go to church every time the doors open. You don't have to go Monday, Sunday night, and Wednesday. You don't have to do that. And this is what you'll say, in a sense, whatever that may be. He that made me whole, the same said unto me, take up thy bed and walk. So that made me whole. Jesus started me out on this path. He told me, behold, thou art made whole, sin no more, lest a worse thing come unto thee. And that worse thing is death, because the wages of sin is death. And that's what he's referring to. Not just another disease, but death in this life and the life hereafter. What is he saying? Like, be punished to an eternal damnation. That's what he's talking about. But when it becomes so real, that experience becomes so real to you, it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people think. For one, you'll go spread it. You'll go spread his word. Like the woman at the well. She just went straight into the town. A woman that people didn't want to have anything to do with because of her past just went into the town spreading the gospel. She said, come see a man who told me everything I've ever done. That was an experience with God. This man, an experience. He'd been laying there for 38 years, been laying there. And when Jesus told him to take up thy bed and walk, the Jews therefore said unto him that was cured, it is the Sabbath day. It is not lawful for thee to carry thy bed. He answered them, he that made me whole, the same said unto me, take up thy bed and walk. So Jesus, the one that saved me, this is what it'll relate to in your life. The one that saved me, people will come up to you and tell you don't have to do this, tell you don't have to go there, tell you don't have to do that. You don't have to preach the gospel or share the gospel in all the world. You don't have to live this way. Well, when Jesus saved me, he set me on this path. And so I'm going to live this way because you can't save me and you can't do anything with it. So he wasn't worried about what they were saying. That was the least of his concern, because the one who had just healed him of his infirmity told him to do that, and that's what he was going to do. And when you have an experience so real with God, you're just going to do what God tells you to do. It's not going to matter what the people think. It's not going to matter what this world thinks. It's not going to matter to you, because when God tells you to do something after you've had such a great experience with him, you're going to do it. So the next question is, what is your experience? Do you shy away from telling other people about the gospel? And I'm guilty of it, I promise. I try to let my life be the biggest light of that, and people know, the people I'm surrounded by daily, people on the football team, they know how I live. They know I don't cuss. They know I don't sing those songs. They know I don't smoke or drink. Thank God for it. And they know that I'm different because of the way I live. So what is your experience like? That's what it all boils down to. That was the point of this. First of all, you have to have an experience. And after you've been laying in that hurt and that sorrow for so long and you've been saved from it, he comes and delivers you from it, your experience will mean a whole lot to you. And you'll do a whole lot with that experience. You'll share it to a whole lot of people because it's deep, it's personal. So the next thing is, what is your experience with the Lord of all creation, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords? Thank you for watching this video. Thank you so much. If you've stayed this long, I really appreciate you. There is a video here, subscribe button there, probably the same type of video here. Same type of video, not the same video, but I really appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all. Until next time. Peace.